Let's just quickly review the concept of a good inference, what logic is all, logic proper, logic itself is all about. And a good inference is a valid inference. And remember, we had three methods of testing arguments for validity to determine whether the argument exhibits good logic. And we're going to actually do them in reverse order for a reason, to make sure everybody's clear on this. That is the first, the third, the last one, but the one that hits us the most is determining, is the logical form a known, valid, invalid pattern of argument or inference? Does the argument follow a known good pattern or a known bad pattern? So if we remember, as we did in the predicate logic, what the good inferences are, what the bad inferences are, what the good patterns are, what the bad patterns are, we can determine whether it's valid. But remember, we don't have all of the patterns. So alternatively, we could look for an example of an argument that has the same logical form, that follows the same pattern, that has all true premises and a false conclusion. And if we find one like that, the argument is not valid. But again, that's a little bit iffy. It's a question of whether we can find it or not, and that's why we're going to start in trying to evaluate it with what's now our first method, comparing it to the known good or bad logical forms and patterns. And finally, another way is it possible to describe a situation in which the premises are all true and the conclusion false? If it is possible, we do not have a valid argument. But notice again, that determines on whether, our creativity. When we're hard pressed, our best bet is to go back to the good patterns of inference. Or when we're looking at it and when we're reconstructing somebody's argument, let's try to use the inferences that we know are either valid or invalid inferences.